Wait, what's this guy? World of Warcraft might be too serious, or why kid? What is what?
I may have cooked a little bit. Just time it.
What's happened?
What's happened? Okay, so World of Warcraft might be too serious, or why kids are. This is inspired by a tweet I saw that I think is good as hell. This is from someone, I assume there's some subreddit talking about a manga called Blue Period, named after the painting Blue Period. Not anything weird. And it's about a guy who goes to art college and really wants to like learn art and is fascinated by art. And it's just, at first, I thought this is surprisingly entertaining for a kid show. He's watching some tokusatsu stuff. But everything about it is forthright, earnest, through and through. No cynicism, no sarcasm, just honesty. I realized that for the past 19 years, the word cool is something I borrowed from other people. It wasn't mine. But passion is a fiery word I get. I know it in my blood. This is the first time I've watched something and felt like I was at the mercy of my own emotions. Kids shows aren't just shows that would make kids happy. They're shows by adults, made by adults, who want to pass something on to children. And those adults labor earnestly to make things understandable even to children.
Have you watched
Before
Avatar?
I knew it, I was in kids.
Look at Uncle Iroh.
Exactly.
What's the episode?
I can't remember.
It's the multiple stories in Ba Sing Se in season 3.
Don't know what it's called. I don't know. Things like that.
Oh, it's the one.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what it is. But so the reason I bring this up, and the reason I have a little teary-eyed hand at the top or whatever, is I think the War Within Cinemax fine. I've talked about that at length.
Yes, the Tales of Ba Sing Se is the episode.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
so
oh my god, that came out 2006.
So the reason I bring this up is because, like, and I'm not a big fan of tokusatsu stuff. I've never watched it. Never like much kaiju stuff either, and it's always a little bit silly. Though I did watch Godzilla -1, and that had no subtext and was really goofy and cool, and did what it wanted to and loved it. So what I want to bring up by showing this is that actually kind of stuck with me, is that kids shows are made by adults who want to pass something on, and they make things understandable. Which means that in a world where people have absolutely no goddamn media literacy whatsoever, people don't have the focus to pay attention to details, like, at all, to see whether stories mean anything, or things like that. I feel like, and it boils back to where World of Warcraft was always pretty strong, which was when it didn't give a shit about being pretentious, or didn't give a shit about being good. It just wanted to be what it was. And that's when it turned out to be good, because it was just, I have a vision, I have an idea, and I'm going to make it a thing. And I feel like the issue recently with a lot of the storytelling since, like, it definitely the case in a lot of Legion, and maybe the case in WoD. Obviously before, there's kind of just a bit, Mop was okay. It had some good parts, but it wasn't super memorable in a bunch of ways. Cataclysm happened, and that was all complications. I feel like there's a lot of complications and seriousness and almost pretentiousness in how, especially you look at Shadowlands. I look at BFA trying to be this complicated thing of like interweaving and interwoven stuff. And I feel like
BFA's problem...
problems.
Yeah, with those expansions, it wouldn't matter how good their plan was. They weren't able to pull it off.
Yeah.
Although certainly some of the edge, I don't want to say edge, because it was a toothless edge. It's bizarre thinking what came over them at that point in time.
Yeah, and that's the thing where it's a toothless edge, where it feels like it was done out of... Maybe there's a little bit of me reading too between the lines, but it feels like there's an element of ego attached that felt very strong. I felt like they were doing something to be liked as opposed to doing something to do it, if you understand, and how a lot of it boiled down. An awful lot of it felt like they were trying to be smart, and Shadowlands felt that way. Shadowlands felt like they were trying to be smart and trying to be interesting, as opposed to had like this feeling that they wanted to get across. And that's what I think I'm kind of excited for the War Within, not just because of Metzin's capacity, but because they're like just going, well, here's Anduin, he's going to be sad and then not be sad anymore. You can tell that's going to be the arc. And that seems super simple. That seems like it's going to be a pretty easy story to tell very earnestly. And it's that earnestness, it's that sincerity, as Donuts points out. It's like people find sincerity kind of cringe nowadays in some cases. And I feel like that's what doesn't actually, that's wrong for people feeling that way. I think it's a lot of like the earnestness, sincerity, and things that actually make them genuinely matter. Because the more I watch stuff that I like historically, an awful lot of it is, I don't want to say completely devoid of subtext, but in that it doesn't shy away from going, this is what we're doing.
Well, the thing is,
We're doing this in every capacity.
there are many aspects of this recent moving away from subtext that I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That I feel like treat audiences like they're stupid. And
Yeah.
if you expect stupid, you'll get stupid, you'll foster stupid. I think we've seen that in quite a lot of things. I don't think that subtext is subtext is not the problem.
It's not the right way to
What
describe
you
it.
want is like the depth and the layers. And it's
Yeah.
like that Garth Marenghi, meme is hilarious. I love it.
Yeah.
Garth Marenghi's great. But I think it's also simplified some people's thinking to the point where it's no longer useful. Like, there's a lot of talking about, say, Godzilla -1. Like, the subtext isn't there. Like, in many scenes that there is.
There's lots of depth to it, like.
Yeah, it's aiding the point of the text.
Yeah, and that's what I think where it
And
actually
the
works.
point of
like,
the text is clear because the story is well constructed.
yeah,
So that's what I'd say. It's more like having strong thematic like resonance through your story.
that's more or less it.
And then having, everything that is being said and also everything that is not being said, reinforcing that.
Yeah, having a clear vision and understanding that what are you trying to do with the story? What are you trying to get people to feel and understand?
Yeah, so
I think it's ultimately the point.
essentially that they're doing something.
Yeah,
Even look at something like, say, the Snyder Cut thing. I'm going to just use that because I know for a lot of people it's like a toxic example.
the Snyder Cut of Rebel Moon.
Because the thing with that, right? There are people who like that. And having watched both of them, I can at least say the full cut of that is a thing. Because that Joss Whedon thing is a fucking nothing. So if anybody liked I don't know if anybody liked the Whedon Justice League because it was nothing. None of its shit was in alignment. It wasn't resonant. At least with the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League, it all fucking lined up with itself. And the point was pretty clear. I still don't think it was great. And I mean, I just don't give a shit about superhero stuff anymore. I'm so
I don't give
over
a
fatigued.
single fuck. Like.
So I couldn't give a shit. But so I think like a lot of the sort of marvelization of things has damaged that. Where there's an expectation of having a certain amount of humor, certain amount of this,
Yeah,
certain amount of
certain
that.
amount of
Which means
completely
none of it's
undercutting your
anything.
point.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely
Yeah.
undercutting any emotional weight you had in any of your piece by just going, what if people get too attached? What if people feel something? And maybe people are a little bit uncomfortable by feeling, so we'll draw them back out of it, perfectly timed with a little joke, to just destroy any and all immersion in case they get a little bit too attached. Because we wouldn't want that, because people don't like being attached.
So I suppose I'd ultimately just say the thing that matters is commitment to the purpose of the piece.
Yeah.
And if the piece doesn't have a purpose, don't make it. And that's ultimately the problem because a lot of the media right now doesn't have a purpose. It shouldn't be made because it has no reason to exist as art, but the reason why it gets made is, of course, to be consumed.
To be a product.
So that ultimately is like your problem here. And it's what always happens whenever you commodify and turn the arts into a business.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's the fucking endless push and pull.
Yep.
And that's why it's rare to get something like, say, Avatar. To go back to, I suppose, children's media in your initial example, where like Avatar has a point to exist.
Yeah.
And the bits where Korra struggles is when clearly, they had a point with season 1. And then Nickelodeon are like, more now.
But we don't have more.
And the
Make more
bits and the bits that you get, because I prefer Korra the character to. Yeah, anyway, let's not get into that. Some people are quite weird about Korra anyway. See, I'm just trying to think how it's applied to WoW.
I mean, look at a pretty
Because
good point here.
if
You
you-
said what people don't get is that subtext isn't about turning the entire point of your project into a puzzle to solve.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But people don't-
subtext
yeah,
is
but-
reinforcement.
Yeah, but people don't get that. They assume, or like writers seem to turn subtext into more of a, can you find out what I'm really trying to tell you? Or like, I don't care.
Will 13-year-olds in English class be able to write an essay on my piece?
It goes back to, why are the curtains blue? And the answer is sometimes the curtains are just fucking blue, and sometimes the curtains are blue because they want you to imagine a blue room, and the blue room looks a bit sad like the character. Both of these things can be true. It's not the binary. It's not one. No, it's not. You can either analyze or not. Pick one. Pick a way to go. And it's like, what about if both were true? It's why I really like Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, because it just fucking tells you at every single opportunity the whole point. And it's not them telling you because you're stupid. It's the protagonist is in a state of heightened emotion and screams what it's about, and all of the imagery lines up and all of the visual lines up, and you realize, you're right, a double helix is a spiral and that is a drill. That's brilliant. And then you think about the whole series and go, that's fucking excellent. And then you feel extremely good at all times. Every time you watch it, yeah, that's right, that's perfect, that's good.
Thinking about WoW, the issue Dragonflight has had is that its storytelling in many cases has been quite, I'm not going to say childish, no, it's been amateur.
Yeah. It's not been childish, that's almost the problem.
Yeah, with the way that the characters talk feels so constructed. A lot of it honestly does feel like it's fucking Chat GPT writing some lines for you. You know, there's just something bizarre going on and how stilted all those things feel. I think a lot of it's just because they are actually awful at dragons, and I never want to see unfortunately, Blizzard, the result of Dragonflight is I never want to see a dragon in this game again because you guys can't fucking do dragons. All that you did with Dragonflight was made me not want to see any of these characters on screen because I can't fucking stand listening to them. None of them talk like individuals. You know,
I love the fucking Mindshare finale was so good. Like, just the end of Amir Drassil finishing each other's sentences. It's so good. And
then Metzen writes a few fucking lines. You do a cinematic and actually,
goes, dialogue in our game. Oh my god!
Because they talk like they're goddamn people, and that cinematic is an example of there's a point. The reason why it's good clearly is because it had a fucking point. They're like, you know, there was like a story to tell, an artistic reason for that to exist. Unlike a lot of the fucking plotting, come on, the fucking shite that most of this expansion has been from an A-plot narrative perspective with those dragon characters. And I think a lot of it too is just their performances. I'm sure all those actors can do a better job in other places, but I don't want to hear fucking Caligos again.
Oh, the way he talks fucking does my head in.
Like, why do they all sound like that? Why do they talk so friggin' weird?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
Because, like, are they humans? Are they elves? Are they dragons? Have you made a decision in that? At least like an FF14, to its credit, like, you fucking see the dragons there, and they feel like different creatures. They feel like ancient beings who have existed for such a long time. They actually feel like what they are, unlike in WoW, where they can't fucking commit to a creative decision, so they just make it a bunch of... I mean, that's just the problem with Dragonflight. Most of Dragonflight is of zero artistic relevance, and it is so constructed that I think it betrays any earnestness that it may have been able to have. And I know that for some reason, they all think that it's all very meaningful. All this family shit's fucking meaningful. But you haven't earned any of it. They've told us. They haven't shown us. It's weird with Dragonflight.
Yeah, the only time the dragons felt like they were dragons was in the Blue Dragonflight quest.
Yeah.
Every other time, they didn't really feel like dragons at all. And by feel like dragons, it is literally like... And the same goes for elves a lot of the time, too.
Yeah.
Where elves don't feel like they're these things that have lived forever. They don't feel like they have this like different approach on, or this like any different like lived philosophy or any different approach to
Blizzard
thinking or
do
acting or anything like that.
Bad job of making the races feel like different races with different cultures and different experiences from being that fucking different.
The Draenei are almost the exception.
Yeah.
But that's mostly because Velen kind of carries that.
Yeah.
Because Velen is a wise old man. And is a wise old man that's lived for 1 billion years. And it kind of works like that. I think that that's one of the better versions of that, I think. But otherwise, it didn't really feel too similar. And even with like the Worgen, don't really feel great either a lot of the time. Like the amount of Gen's pretty angry a lot of the time, but he makes sense to be angry. There's there's not an awful lot of special things they do with him, and that's the part that kind of bugs me. You could sit down and go, well, like if you were to say, right, give me a couple of ideas for what would be a cool scene with Gen focused on the nature of him being a Worgen. And I'm sure everyone would have a billion ideas right off the bat, because you immediately know, okay, well, what's the thing? Right, well, you know all his plot, you know his Worgen, what are the core themes of Worgen? Everyone knows the split between man and beast. Everyone knows the themes of what werewolves are supposed to be. Everyone knows that. So you can immediately come up with a billion things. And then you see Gen.
Yeah, the problem is whenever they're not doing that.
Yeah.
When you're doing a fucking werewolf story, there is human culture and storytelling tradition you can like operate on top of. Blizzard's problem tends to be whenever they actually just try to do it themselves, and it turns out they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Exactly. As seen in Dragons.
Yeah.
It's like I don't like being super negative about it, but you know, the Dragons were pretty much a crime to storytelling, so
yeah. Where it's
crime to storytelling, crime to writing, crime to voice acting. In fact, a crime to most aspects of the business is what the Dragons were.
Yeah, they really don't get the fantasy parts of WoW down good at all, do they? Ever?
No.
Everyone just acts like different like shapes and colors of humans a lot of the time.
Yeah.
As soon as it said there, Donut said there's everyone's humans in a costume. And like it very much feels like that. Even the like Dragonkin. Is there any special aspect of the Dragonkin culture that you know of?
No, I think a lot of the problem is the people writing these characters, they clearly have not got enough fucking experience in life. I don't know.
So I agree with that a lot, because I do think that you need some capacity of life experience to write. But I also think if you are like intelligent enough, you can kind of emulate a lot of that, or you can pick themes out of derivative works and write something that's like, it's not going to be as heartfelt or special as someone who's like been through something, but like you don't have to, you know, you can write scenes on a battlefield without ever seeing one from like absorbing so much
history, of it. Yeah, I guess for me it's just like take that Emirdrasil end cinematic. So after they've got their powers back, whenever they're just talking to each other, like, can you imagine doing that? Frankly, and having a job.
It's certainly rough. Like, it's certainly rough.
Like, I don't want to say, can we talk about it? Because obviously we can, but like, what?
Just what?
Like, I don't have a mental framework for how a writer produces that work and how a company produces that and ships it. You know what I mean? It's just so, because like people compare it to children's media, and like, look, the thing is, if you're talking about children's media for like 2 or 3 year olds, like that shit doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like, you got like so Avatar existing as like a pinnacle of children's media.
Half the fucking cartoons I watched as a kid were way more engaging than this. You get the WoW writers to write an episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog. They couldn't do it.
Absolutely not.
Not a chance. Not even close.
God, it's like Katara is my favorite character in Avatar. I could not imagine how much they would ruin her instantly.
Yeah.
Because Katara is a character who you could do wrong and make very annoying. And there are people who don't like Katara because like she's too motherly and says no to things that are cool. Like, no, that's why I like her, because she's the fucking responsible character who's actually... But like you could totally imagine like that done by good writers, we get what we got, it's brilliant. Yeah. That done by like, I don't know, people who think that the Emirdrasil cinematic is shippable. And
so I actually have an interesting thing on you saying about that, like people don't like Katara for not liking her, but you like her because that's her character. I actually experienced this really strongly recently whenever I rewatched Gurren Lagann, because when I was younger and I watched it, I fucking hated Roshu. Fucking hated the cunt. Despised him. And that was maybe an immature emotional response to eventually the show. But I was like, fuck, don't like him. And then on a rewatch, a good, 14 years later, maybe 16 years later? No, somewhere like 12, 14 years later, I obviously am substantially more emotionally mature, so I was able to see more of it for what it was. And I appreciate his character substantially more because I wasn't going, well, fuck this guy's decisions. I was going, I disagree with this guy's decisions, but I actually have a clear enough eye to see why they were made. So I appreciate the writing and the characters behind that. So I think a lot of that's maybe that's media literacy, but I could see people going, Katara's stopping the cool things from happening. I don't like her. Versus looking at it from a critical perspective and going, well, that's her character and that works for this bit. That works for the scene very well. I think there's a little bit of a difference there in just how people actually engage with things at different levels. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Hey Arnold, dealing with Vietnamese family separation cut deep. Yeah, how do I put this? You put someone who wants to write anywhere and they'll write. You put someone who doesn't particularly want to write even into the perfect spot and they won't write very well. I think there's a little bit of that. Now, there's a lot of assumptions been made there on my part, but I always assume that people who write for some children's shows and stuff are actually just people who are I fucking love writing and I have all these ideas. I'll get the first position I can that allows me to be creatively free. And that's one of those cases.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I suppose as we pull this back to WoW narrative, I feel better because, it's weird that the thing we've been talking about on our work Discord for ages hasn't become public yet, even though loads of people are talking about it on Twitter.
Yeah. It's funny.
And then there's someone else who's connected to that thing who I think was likely responsible for lots of very bad content in WoW, who's no longer in the WoW team. And it's I'd love to talk about these things and they're official.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It'd be nice if this wasn't all just unconfirmed rumors.
Yeah,
please.
Kind of sucks. Someone make some noise somewhere, please.
Spill beans. Spill beans.
Yeah, I'm very hungry. I need beans.
There are beans that suggest that there's been a changing of the guard, shall we say. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's good because, frankly, I sort of feel comfortable saying it now. The work of the previous bunch was fucking shite.
Dog,
It was fucking dog.
Dog water, absolutely.
It was bollocks. It sucked. And everyone in chat knows who we're talking about and knows that work. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It's
and now that
disappointing.
It very much seems that those in charge for that period of WoW's worst narrative ever are no longer in charge. That's a fucking improvement. At the end of the day, games are made by people. If you got the wrong people, it's not going to fucking turn out good, is it?
I think that's the part that especially executives who don't have the time or energy to see the people below them as people, because there's too many hundreds of them, will often kind of fall behind that and just be like, well, it's a machine. There's so many people I have to abstract them as machines who make my product, which is different to, oh yeah, they're actually all individual people with their own creativity and their own push. Obviously, you have to conceptualize them as machines at some point, but there's always a lot of variance in that, as opposed to,
So it's interesting. I remember Towley said the Dragonflight was Danuzer's baby.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Towley said the Dragonflight was Danuzer's baby? Hey, audience, viewers, dear viewers, Matt Lycan, hello. Do you remember when Towley said the Dragonflight was Danuzer's baby? Do you remember when Towley said it was Danuzer's baby?
I remember, yeah, there's a lot of things you could say about a baby, and all of them are horrible jokes, so.
What I can say is that this one, the Spartans probably had the right idea.
Yeah.
It's a bit brutal.
What was I say about dashed up on the rocks? Yeah.
So.
Fun.
And then, the Taliesin is somewhat. I mean, he's fucking poked about it in a video. I've poked about it in a video. And I think we're both just waiting come on.
Yeah, someone put in the public domain, please.
Yeah, some old guys said, where's the punchline? I'm like, I know. We are so blue balls in this. Look, TLDR, I've fucking heard from ex-developers that the narrative individuals responsible for the last while of WoW are fucking gone. That's what I've heard, basically. And I think Tally's suggested that he's heard that in an episode. I don't know. All I know was the writing was pretty damn bad, and that was bad for World of Warcraft because, right, it all plays into people's self-perception. That's the bit that's key.
Self-perception's fun. I love that.
Because you don't want to feel like you are playing... Imagine you like something.
I don't know if I can, but I'll try.
Okay.
I'll give it my best.
Imagine you liked Iron Man.
Oh, that's a tough ask.
And then as time went on, you continued to like the Marvel movies. But then imagine those movies became really bad and really embarrassing and really forced. You would now be left in a situation where you'd be like...
Why are you saying imagine?
you'd be sort of saying, okay, but if I continue to like these, what will people think about me? All the social dynamics that apply to humans happen.
Yeah.
Right? So now we're at the stage. If you said, you love World of Warcraft, you love the world, you love the narrative.
Oh, I'd be so ashamed.
And then your friend sees the Amir Drasil End cinematic. You would be embarrassed. You would be worried that your friend is going to be like,
have you lost your fucking mind?
Like, yeah, it's like, do you need to wear nappies? That's how it would be. I like Dragonflight. It had some of the best side quests in that expansion. Totally agree, Tenacious Gamer.
Yeah, side quests.
The thing. Because the side quests basically have fuck all involvement from like a lot of the core narrative people. Side quests basically are built by the quest team. And, the quest team will have meetings to get them approved. But those basically are the quest team's baby. And that's been the key thing for me. Whenever the quest team just do their stuff, the content ends up being pretty damn great.
10-2 in the details was excellent.
Yeah. But then seemingly whenever it gets squeezed through top level WoW narrative brass, it all turns bad. Mm-hmm. That's been the thing that's weird.
It's been the case for a decent while. Which is funny because it was almost the opposite in the past. Because you look at like some of the side quests in like Cataclysm or like the zone stories, and you're like,
some are good, some are less good.
Yeah. Yeah, so
it was a funny time. I think Blizzard didn't quite know where their game was tonally. Where I'd say like looking at like Wrath of the Lich King, that's an expansion where it really felt like they knew what their game was in Wrath. And I think that helps because they were able to use Warcraft 3 as like a solid touchstone. And that means just everybody has a vision of the game, a tone for the world that they can kind of reference their work against. It's whenever you go off that, you sort of don't have that to lean back on, that stuff starts to become a little bit more challenging. And I guess that's been the issue with this expansion.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully not with the next.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have an A plot.
So that's why I'm feeling better about the next expansion, purely because what do we know? We know Metzen came in. We know he came in. We know that quite soon after he came in, so from what I've heard, Metzen, sort of, there was the plans the team already had. And he's like, okay, well, how do we shape this into something? We know that he wrote the War Within cinematic. It's really well written. Really, really well written. It's great. We also know he, sort of nothing to do with Dragonflight. And
apparent.
There have been significant noises to the effect of the people actually making the big narrative decisions from WoW are literally different. And then I look at War Within, there's Arathi humans, Nerubians. There's a lot of elements that feel like they're actually Warcraft. Starts to make me think it's kind of going in a better direction.
I mean, that's kind of what's been bubbling unsaid for me underneath the whole time. That's why, like, I definitely am substantially more stonks up on, like, the plot of the War Within, because if I believed that the World Soul Saga was going to be of similar quality to what we've seen recently, I'd be like,
nope,
no, thank you. Just stop having story in your game. Turn it into fucking M+ simulator and call it a day. Like, just let me have. Don't make me waste my time on this anymore.
Don't tease me with a story if you're never going to deliver.
Yeah, where now that's actually a fairly different feeling to me. I'm like, no, actually, I am. I'm not as excited for it as I maybe once would have been, because I'm kind of just like, I feel like they have so much work to do that I feel like it's never going to live up to other stories I can get in the medium of games, because basically they've spent so much time shitting the bed and having to clean it up that they're behind an awful lot in technique and ability in a bunch of ways. But as far as actually being a fan of World of Warcraft goes, which I, like you said, I kind of loathe to think that sometimes. I kind of loathe to say that sometimes, because it's like, there's so many caveats to it.
Yeah, you don't want the quality of your game, the quality of like the narrative experience of your game to be at the place where your players will feel embarrassed if other people see the stuff you're shipping.
Yeah. It's like, is this your game, bro? Like, no, shh. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, because like it's like if somebody said to me, "I love season 8 of Game of Thrones. I think it's great."
I would actually literally stop talking to them. I'd sort of go, "You're no."
Totally, actually related to that. Did you know the Dragonflight's Daenerys' baby? Maybe I just have to be completely knives out. Yeah, I mean, fuck it. Obviously, a combination of the previous narrative leadership of World of Warcraft, and you know who that is, and a combination of that and whatever production things led to bullshit. And even from a person, I did an interview with Danuzer, and like he fucking hypes up Ner'zhul to me.
Fuck! Oh, that was a mind blow.
And to me,
oh my God.
yeah, to me, it actually just turns to the stage of like, fuck you, get out of here.
I was just
piss off.
It was just there for no reason.
Piss off, get out of here.
Oh Jesus!
You know?
Oh, that hurt. Oh fuck, that hurt. Jesus Christ!
You're just like,
damn.
What the fuck?
Remember Kel'Thuzad was in that raid? Oh, the next one, sorry. Yeah. Remember Kel'Thuzad was in the Shadowlands?
Remember Kel'Thuzad in the Shadowlands? No, it's okay. Thrall shared like shared a few lines with his ma. It's all okay. Now, of course, remember the string. Do you remember the string, the rope, the threads in the rope?
Oh,
the rope thread explanation of there being 2 Drakas, but actually 1 Draka, and this Draka is a fucking simulacrum of all the other Drakas.
Yeah, alternate timelines are all different threads of one rope, and in the Shadowlands, there's rope. I fucking wish there's rope in the Shadowlands. I would have used it.
Yeah, it's bigly like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was dire. It was dire.
Anyway, I remember that statement that Towley said about Dragonflight being a certain individual's baby. I then think about how inconsistent this expansion ended up being and how narratively embarrassing it was in so many cases. And I also remember the sigils.
Sigils
and now it seems that this next expansion might be somebody else's baby.
I was going to say the Homestones. What are they called again?
The Homestones.
What are they called?
Stones bad.
No, the
Oath Stones!
The Oath Stones. The Oath Stones.
What is an Oath Stone?
I swear to God, if 10.27 doesn't have something about the Oath Stones, or like if the epilogue coming in 10.25 doesn't have something with the Oath Stones that wraps it up, I will be very mean online.
Like, can you imagine?
I might actually at people.
Can you imagine that the people who did the Oath Stone or the sigils also immediately went and did the Oath Stones?
Yeah, like, that's hilarious.
Can you actually imagine being that unself-critical?
I'm pretty sure like back-to-back seasons of fucking Precure are more different than that. Like, oh my God.
So I just went onto the Warcraft wiki. Oathstone refers to 2 different and seemingly unrelated kinds of objects associated with dragons. Yeah. Both as monuments and communication devices.
Yeah.
Of course, the old...
Because why would you...
Notes! Oh my God, the wiki editors are on fire. Notes! The Oathstones of the Dragon Isles have a very similar narrative role to the Covenant's sigils and Shadowlands. Oh yeah, because the Covenant's... What the fuck was a sigil?
It was a magic doohickey that was the key to the first one's land.
Okay, we're gonna find out what a sigil is. If you ever wonder what the sigils actually do, the sigils, sometimes capitalized, are occasionally referred to, as Covenant sigils, are 5 objects that were long ago given to the Eternal Ones of the Shadowlands as symbols of their Covenant's purpose.
Why are they called the Eternal Ones?
Why are they symbols of a Covenant's purpose?
Were they?
What is? Yeah, that's what. Yeah, what does that mean? Like, it's just a fucking logo.
Like, I'm all.
It's a profile picture.
Like, I'm all for symbolism. I
It's
love
a
little
design
things.
for a pin.
But you don't make them these magical floaty fucking Orby balls.
Well, the
you make them
Eternal-
like things you wear. You have it be the Archon's necklace. You have it be the Primus's like fucking like shield or scroll or something. You make them cool instead. Why? Why is it so easy to make things cool?
And then, using the cursed pen, the Dark Lord Sauron created the 5 signature. I don't fucking know. Okay, so the Eternal One, Zoval, saw them as keys to forbidden knowledge and tried to claim the sigils of the other Eternal Ones by force, leading him being banished to the Maw and making him the jailer. Ages later, with the Shadowlands in disarray, the jailer once again began working to claim the sigils. If he obtained all 5, nothing would stop him
From doing what?
from reaching the sepulchre of the first ones.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he eventually obtained 4, at which point the Primus decreed that the mortal heroes of Azeroth had to defeat Zoval in the Sanctum of Domination. As a contingency, if the assault failed, the Covenants also had to create sigils so that they could pursue. So that's the other thing about them.
Why could they not?
These ancient sigils, given to the Covenants brackets, they can make a new one if they need to.
Also brackets. Why didn't they destroy them?
Oh no, Matt, I have the answer. Hold on. I have the answer to the sigils.
Okay.
Because I was about to say, like, well, they just need to make a new sigil. They can. In order for new sigils to be made, however, each covenant first had to, quote, remember its purpose and find its future. Where's the rope? Where is the rope, and why is it not around my neck?
So I have a question. Why did they not? No, this is like okay. I'm saying this fully from the perspective that I know I'm nitpicking, and they could write a way around this, whatever. Why didn't they destroy the sigils?
Because
so you're
then they'd forget their purpose or something.
So you're sat there with a key, and you're like, a man is coming to steal this key so he can get into my lockbox. What do? You fucking destroy the key and go, I can just get a new lock later. Like, easy. But it's the fact that like, those details aren't accounted for. And it's just, it's such a symbolism. And I like symbols, but again, like you want to do cool things with them. You want to make them interesting. You want to make them be like,
have to remember your purpose. And then you get a new sigil. You're like, oh, I get it now.
Well, that's why I have no fucking sigils. Jesus Christ, makes sense.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the assault did fail, with Zoval claiming the 5th sigil from the Arbiter and using the combined power to open a portal to Zareth Mortis, the location of the sepulchre. The Covenants gathered in Korthia to enact the Primus's contingency plan and presented the 4 new sigils they had made. Again, by remembering their purpose.
4 new? 95?
There's no Arbiter sigil. Remember,
Yeah, but then
remembering their purpose, which the Primus could use, along with a replacement for the Arbiter sigil, to forge a new key. To forge a new key.
Oh, from Pelagos.
No, this is before that happened. This is...
Then how'd they get that?
Our efforts were focused on preventing the jailer from shattering the barrier around the Maw and invading the rest of the Shadowlands. Instead, he expanded the Maw itself to envelop Oribos and claim the Arbiter sigil. I do not fully understand what we witnessed atop Torghast, but the Primus certainly does. It's time to act his contingency plan. So here's what the man, the Primus, the owner of the Primusi, is what he says. Your efforts have helped the Covenant remember their secret purpose. Because they just forget it. They just forgot. They just forgot now. They can't make their keys because they don't remember what they're for.
Like, to be fair, I think the Covenant's forgetting their purpose due to time and corruption is actually pretty good, and that ended up working okay-ish.
But that's not why you mechanistically like make a new key. It's like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. You at least make it a ritual.
The new sigils they have manifested will allow me to forge a key to follow Zoval into the first ones. The Primus walks over to the boulder that Jaina, Thrall, and Bolvar were using. Wow. I don't know. They were using a boulder. Don't ask questions. The Primus says, Zoval may have won the battle, but he will not win the war. We stand united in purpose, and together we shall claim victory for family. And then representatives of the Covenants, of course, arrive. Covenants of the Shadowlands step forward. The 4 representatives summon their sigils, and then the player summons each one. To which the characters say, Revendreth humbly offers our unity and purpose. I present the devotion of Bastion. By Primus we offer you the might of Maldraxxus. The Winter Queen sends you the steadfastness of Ardenweald.
The what?
The steadfastness of Ardenweald.
Would you call Ardenweald steadfast?
Shut the fuck up, gamer. Fucking asking questions about this. This is gold. This is gold.
This is fucking fool's gold, like.
Yo. Now, your efforts have helped the Covenants remember their sacred purpose. The new sigils they have manifested. Cool, so I guess we're into manifesting now. God, I watch too many TikToks. Will allow me to forge a key to follow Zaval. Are you ready?
To a better plotline.
Okay, so the Primus does a bunch of talking. We used Zoval's anima to construct a new arbiter, one that was dispassionate and just.
You did what? Oh, yeah.
I have realized that he would never stop fighting to reclaim his power, and his schemes have fallen through to the bitter end. Does he talk about the new... Oh! And then the Primus says this. Guess what the Primus says? Joe's final line is, Matt.
For the Shadowlands, no.
Not death comes for the soul of your world. Zoval said that at the start of the expansion. Do you understand? It's a circly. Wow!
Poetry kind of was it?
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
He didn't say it like poetry. Just like it rhymes. He said something like it's like poetry. Kind of it rhymes or something. He actually Lucas could actually undermine that himself. Yeah, that kind of I'm tired, boss. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So how does he just make a new sigil? So anyway, that's what the sigils are. Now it's time for us to really work out what an Oathstone is. Obviously, these Oathstones have been...
It's a sigil in a stone.
These have been pivotal to this expansion. If the Oathstones were not renewed, we'd all be doomed. 5 major Oathstones are located at the seats of power for the Dragonflights throughout the Isles. These monuments were created by the Keepers when history began in the Dragon Isles to symbolize the power, the bond between each Dragonflight and their Titan patrons. They serve as symbols for the Dragonflight's power and their oaths to Azeroth. But like so far, this is just a monument to commemorate something. It doesn't do anything.
Yes, so why did they turn on and glow? And why is the Mother Oathstone?
Although the dragons left following the Sundering, many Draconoids stayed behind and continued to safeguard the stones. The Oathstones eventually went dormant. Alexstrasza believes they fell quiet whenever the Dragonflight sacrificed their powers to defeat the Deathwing. She now believes if the Dragonflights fulfill their callings and renew the stones, the aspect powers will be restored, a necessity if they're able to defeat the primal incarnates. Now, here's my question. How? Why? How does it work? What does it do?
Yeah, like...
What does it do?
That's the problem. It's supposed to be... It's literally written as a MacGuffin, right? Because no one understands why it gives the power back. Alexstrasza just said she assumes it. But that didn't engage with them giving up their power in the first place. Because what you want to do is, if you want to try that again, you make getting their power back be about... You basically turn it into how each of them felt betrayed by Deathwing.
Yeah.
Because the moment they lost their power was when they had to give it up to finish off their fallen brother. So you reverse engineer the demon soul, not literally in plot, but like you take all the themes of the demon soul and you basically have them like emotionally come to terms with the fact that they were betrayed. And you have them ultimately end up forgiving Deathwing or forgiving Notharion and going through his past, right? But that's a wee bit of a emotionally led story that you can't really do anything with in terms of content-y stuff. So, how does that make any sense? Yeah, that's my initial thought. If you want it to be about the dragons getting... Yeah, because obviously the point was we need some dragon stories, and then we need a MacGuffin to tie together. And it feels like that was the order of which it came about. We need a physical set piece, cool moment to signify their purpose returning. which is just a repeat of the Covenant sigils.
And what we needed is to actually understand any of this.
Like, why did they not get their powers back piecemeal, but then it didn't come back fully until the Mother of Stone?
Shut up and revive Tyr.
Because then you would understand it.
No, revive Tyr and shut up. Stop asking questions. You, Matt, do not have aspectral powers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the awkward part. It feels so contrived. It's all contrivance on contrivance on contrivance.
Yeah, and that's why I do not want to work in World of Warcraft ever again.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of, yeah.
Now, could this news please go public so I don't have to fucking sound like, you know, it's like whenever like you get like, you know, like a white rapper is going to get like, you know, near the N word in a rap and they go, or like, you know, they make a noise or they do a thing, right? Where it's like, you know, they're doing the rap, but it's obviously the words are fucking inappropriate for them to do. You know, it just kind of, okay, it's not kind of like that, but you know, I'm just like, well, we want to fucking talk about it. Because normally it doesn't get personal. Normally we're just, you know, it's not like, oh, there's a new director and the person's done a shite job. But the thing is, it's like, you know, in fucking cinema. Like, why is it that, like, oh no, people on Twitter, people in game development Twitter will get really angry at us. Where it's like, you can be like, hey, Ridley Scott, did you know when it comes to history, you're a fucking cunt? Right?
I like it.
Because, you know his whole thing, basically, like,
yes, look.
Him talking about like some historical accuracy stuff with Napoleon. His response was like, shut the fuck up, nerd. Now in a way I'm like, okay, in one way kind of based. Also, given that you've seemingly done a fucking hatchet job, shitty movie, shut up, Ridley.
Yeah, that's the hateful part.
Because maybe if you weren't the kind of guy who would say fuck your historical accuracy, you would have made a movie that actually resonated with people.
Yeah, the problem with being based is that it has a competency check. That's the issue.
Oh yeah,
you can't be a useless loser.
That's why Andrew Tate tries to say something. It seems like he's a real big hard man.
Yeah, and everyone just goes.
Everyone's like, oh, based. I mean, the fucking brainlets who follow him are like, oh wow, based, and everyone else is like, you've actually just revealed how fucking stupid you are.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if the O-Stones were made as a borrowed power system originally and changed after it was made.
Yo!
That is the best.
Yo! Oh my god! We actually literally...
That's the best rat I've ever heard. God bless you,
Dude,
God bless you.
Imagine if we were collecting aspectral power when we were doing our raids and we were funneling our aspectral power into the Oathstones to make the dragons more powerful for the final battle. Ludonarrative resonance. 100% big win.
Fucking Ludonarrative vibrated me off the cliff like Jesus Christ. Oh my god, that's good. You know what? I don't believe that, but I'm just going to say I believe it now. Just for that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that is now canon. That is my favorite rat I've heard in a while.
I have faith in your brain, so now anything you say, I suppose I have to believe.
Good ass narrative, hell yeah. I'm just going to say that as if it was real. Man, those stones.
Miniature versions of Oathstones have existed since Day of the Dragon in 2001.
Yeah, they're wee.
So that's the other side. Let's go to the next part of the Wikipedia article. The other type of Oathstone. A smaller kind of Oathstone were used as signs of commitment to help the Dragonflight, or dragons it belong to. They're important to dragons as bonds of agreement. It's possible to telepathically communicate through them. Oathstones are made from a dragon's scale, which is then turned into a gemstone. Because they are made from a dragon's scale, an oathstone is considered part of the original dragon, so it can be used to communicate with the dragon, and the dragon can even cast spells through them. A linked dragon can also see through their oathstone. Shortly before the Battle of Grim Batol, the mage Ronan made an oathstone from Deathwing and Vrisa Windwalker, I'll just get a bit of her, and Corielstras. Deathwings was a small silver medallion with runes and a black gemstone. Wow, we won. I suppose they're all able to sort of talk and communicate through that.
Sorry, I can't stop laughing because T-Rex just said, damn, all this is giving me profound diarrhea. And the combination of those two words specifically has me. Oh, that's good.
So, in short, We have never learned what an Oathstone is.
We'll find out in the epilogues. Trust. They'll turn on the Mother Oathstone. Tyr will come and say, "Fuck's sake, it's out of batteries," and put a wee AAA in. That'll be it.
Yeah, Tyr was just like, Alex, sorry, I didn't tell you the admin password to the Oathstone.
Yeah, sorry, let me hit it a bonk with the fucking silver hand here. Trunk, she's sorted now. Oh yeah, what if it's in the book? I haven't read the book yet because we didn't get a copy. Because Blizzard hate us. No, we didn't ask for one. And Amazon was going to ship it to me when I was in Japan. So fuck it, I'm not going to buy it. Oh my god.
What do Oathstones do?
They do. They're symbols. They're symbols of the they're symbols of the.
But also got their power back. And you know, it's that annoying thing of like nobody in WoW, like the question or the word why is banned from everyone in Azeroth.
Of course, yeah, because it would just be. It's like when like a 5 or 6 year old starts asking why.
This
and they're like, why is the sky blue? And you go, well, here's the reason. And they go, but why though? And you're like, I don't have an answer to that shit.
Like, this expansion basically comes down to an absolutely fucking wooden moron thought a bunch of things, was wrong about all of them, never explained how any of it worked. We did all the hard work while she sat in Valdrakken.
Yep.
Why is Alex... I hope they find a way to kill Alex Streza. Actually, you know what?
This expansion's over, sorry, man.
Kill all the dragons. Kill them all. They're all shit. They're all shit.
You heard it here first, folks. Dragon genocide.
If you kill Kelagos, then you get to do another trauma arc with Jaina. Fantastic.
Would like to see another trauma arc with Jaina.
Oh,
those are always good.
We don't have enough.
Those are always good. Like
some hard mummy energy. It's just so weird with Dragonflight.
It was, narratively speaking, a load of shite.
It was very bizarre.
And there's a lot of things they tried to do quite well. And they just kind of
great.
And also like there were so many clear and obvious themes running through with like the Black Dragonflight, and then they just kind of farted all over it with like mishandling Rathion and Sibelian and Abezian really on.
What does an Oathstone actually do?
Like they just
send tweet.
Yeah, they just
see how this goes.
They just scuffed the shit out of like a lot of it. Realistically, oh Terex, that's not a bad idea.
Oh.
You know, I think that's maybe a bit edgy, but I like it. Naifu orchestrates or outright herself kills the aspects in the Harbinger questline. That would be that would honestly be sick. That would honestly be such a way to go.
Then she looks at the camera and is like,
shock.
I guess they'll bury you in the family plot.
Yeah, I genuinely like that. I think that would be a bit cheesy, but it'd also be a really strong way to just go, the rule book has been thrown into the bin.
What it just killed them all. The Dragon Isles just slowly sinks into the sea. Look at all the elves drown. All the elves fucking drown and Balameth is gone.
I like it. That's a good one. I like it.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. Those people don't work at the company anymore, so the elf hatred's probably over.
No, there's plenty of room for elf hatred in Midnight. It's fine. It'll just be maybe good elf hatred.
Oh, your balls are going to be stomped.
It'll be good elf hatred. It's fine. Yeah, no, that's... Oh, man.
So far, nobody on Twitter has informed me what the Oathstones actually do.
Yeah, that's because no one fucking knows, mate. Elf hate, yeah. Elf hate. Oh, man.
We just won the basics, man.
Yeah, just the fundamentals. That's all we need. That's all we need, the fundamentals.
Like, can you imagine doing the sigils, and then in your new expansion,
Sigils 2,
that Towley has said is literally your baby, you then go and do the sigils again?
That's one fucking inbred baby, Jesus Christ, like.
Can you imagine doing that?
I can, yeah.
Anyway, so there you go. That's that. We talked about the sigils.
Yeah, we talked
very
about
good.
The narrative Dragonflight for some reason, because we here at Belger Industries are gluttons for punishment, allegedly.
Well, you said World of Warcraft might be too... I mean, you started this segment.
So I did, yeah.
You did. Now, you know the thing is about this patch? Other than them trying to do a Marvel portal scene... Oh, I forgot about that now, I remember.
That was so shit. And I know so a lot of people were like, but the context. What if it's better with the context? Whenever it leaked. And you go... Maybe it's better with the context. And what's the context? Like 2 quests where Alex Strauss is like, we will send people to go and get other people to help us. You're like, but they can't for reasons. You're like, what? Where's... Where's
all a lot of
wh- wh-
nothing.
yeah, like you do that, right? But you do that and you include a scene where we're going to fucking talk to him. Because you send a dragon and like, Trallian, come help. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm busy. What do you mean?
Yeah. Suddenly,
The Emerald Dream, Trallian. He goes, what the fuck is that?
Suddenly, Velen and Makatork appear.
Yeah, like, if you want to say, like, this is the perfect version of, and
that was so unearned.
I apologize for the FF comparison again, but in Endwalker, there's basically a bit where you go, fuck, we need a load of boys. Well, good thing I'm an adventurer and have basically saved every bastard on this planet a few times over. So let's all go and talk to all the boys and say, well, have you got lads you can send? Have you got any money for us? Have you got any materials? We need this stuff sorted. And then you get a little moment where they're like, fuck, you were good help saving the world back then a couple expansions ago. Come on ahead. And you got to like actually see the process of that. And that's what it takes to earn that. You need to have all of the context for all these people be in recent memory. And you need whatever sacrifice they're making, whatever emotional reason they have to help you exist. It can't just be, and we all band together for Azeroth. Because it's like, that's not really compelling.
For friendship.
Like, do you have to imagine Trallian sitting signing some documents going, fuck's sake, Anduin, why'd you leave all this paperwork behind you, cunt? And like a dragon shows up and goes, or like whatever, and goes, Trallian, we need your help immediately. And he's like, I will teleport there at once. Like, what?
Yeah, just the way where it's like, I know what we're going to do to solve this problem. Summon all the political leaders of the planet.
Yeah. And I get it's like the greatest heroes, but they're also the political leaders. And you go, where's the dissonance there?
It's a very sudden, this no longer feels like a place.
Yeah.
This just feels like superhero characters. And they shouldn't be superhero characters. Turallion is currently the regent of Stormwind.
Yeah.
He commands people to go to Emir Drasil. He doesn't go there himself.
Yeah, where's the, like, it probably would have landed better if it was a contingency of guards from everywhere.
Yeah.
Instead of main characters. Like,
yeah, or maybe like there was a fucking quest where you fucking went around rallying people.
yeah.
Like there was in the narrative masterpiece, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Exactly.
The Battle of Bruma, and every year you fucking go to rally everyone's armies, and you get, it's like you, Boris, and 2 guards from each town go to fight the calamitous final battle to decide the fate of the realm, and it's fucking 10 dudes. Never mind, there's like infinitely respawning guards inside the town.
Yeah.
Oh, Oblivion, what a game. What a lovable piece of shit. I think that
Lovely
game's
pieces.
great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's that Nakey Jakey video about how the, like, you know, Bethesda's formula is a decade old.
Yeah.
It might, see, here's the thing. I lasted not that long in Skyrim because the Bethesda formula was old by the time of Skyrim.
Yeah. Skyrim was.
It was new in Oblivion. You know the way they moved from Morrowind to Oblivion and it was a big change?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway. So
They could have had representatives sent by the leaders who had a part in the story along the way and showed up at the end. That's a lot of big thinking there. So they don't have the money to pay for that kind of thinking, so.
then you have the problem, like, if you bring those characters into your story, but then you don't do anything with them, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Don't bring, you know, it's like you brought Turallion in, now the player has an expectation something will happen with him. And all that actually happens is he appears for a cutscene and you never see him again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ginger Nuts, the way to do that is you talk to the armies, you get sent to the small group to take out a MacGuffin, hold a tower, light a signal fire. And, like, they're pretty decent at like, actually setting that up whenever you're doing, here's you flying around doing stuff. They have, like, the fundamentals of that down, where it's you go and you go sort this out, go take, like, the 10-1 was pretty okay with that. When it's like, you have to go sort out all the armies, but here, you're the one who can fly, so go bomb some shit. And that, like, felt pretty good. But they don't quite get it with, like, all the time. And with these things where they just didn't earn any of that whatsoever, which is very plot twist. We became the Elder Scrolls.
Man, you know,
Yeah.
I really missed being a toxic gamer.
Same.
And this last half an hour has been so enjoyable.
It's been fun.
It was absolutely worth it.
I've been trying to be very positive, and it's wreaking havoc on my soul.
Oh, it's going to hurt you so bad whenever we get Metzin's vision and the game's good.